All right, well, Trump, he announced this week a 90-day pause on reciprocal tariffs, saying that the pause only applies to trading partners who didn't retaliate. Take a listen to this.
I thought that people were jumping a little bit out of line. They were getting yippy, you know. We have many other countries, as you know, many more than 75. And they all want to come, and they want to come here, or they'll go to Commerce, or they'll go to Treasury. They all want to make a deal. Somebody had to do what we did, and I did a 90-day pause for the people that didn't retaliate, because I told them if you retaliate, we're going to double it.
So one of the countries noticeably not on that list is Canada. A 25% tariff on auto, steel, and aluminum, among other goods, remain in place for our neighbors to the north. Michael Charbon, host of the Charbon Report, joins me now. Great to have you back here, Michael. What's the reaction here from Canadians that they were left off this 90-day pause of the tariffs?
Canadians still look at the United States as their trading partner. I mean, more than 98% of Canadian elements that are exported are on the tariff lines of the bilateral agreement, and they don't face U.S. duty. 1.6% face duty, like agriculture goods, dairy, sugar, cheese, and some lumber. But Canada was spared the 10% trade tariff, but was hit with the 25% auto sector. And of course, Carney reciprocated with 25%. There's going to be job layoffs. There's going to be a potential increase in costs to an American vehicle of 15%, they're saying. There is the fear of stagflation. Canadians realize we supply about 70% of the aluminum, and that's about 4 million tons a year, if you can imagine that. And if America was thinking about repatriating their aluminum manufacturing, it would cost about $400 billion and takes 4 to 6 years. And now with China talking in a tweet, which has been dissolved, about taking back all the critical minerals that are necessary, 50% of all high-grade nickel for military in the States comes from Canada. And finally, if you look at the massive trade, right, 2.3 million trucks cross the Windsor-Detroit Peace Bridge. That's about $323 million a day. So Canadians, John, want to partner with America. We don't want to fight with America.
Yeah, and on that bridge, a lot of tour buses go back and forth. And we're seeing now that there's reports of Canadians freezing their trips to the United States. Tour buses to New York City are being canceled, and travel agencies are seeing a steep drop-off with bookings down 70, 80, 90% in some cases. Is that the next step? I know a lot of Canadians have homes in the United States, but now are people not going to tour and come down here on vacations, Michael?
John, it comes down to the Canadian dollar. $1 U.S. buys $1.38 Canadian, and if you turn it around, it's about 70 cents Canadian to the dollar. It's almost 50% more expensive. Canadians can't afford to go to the United States because of the differentiation. But you know what? I talk about just a quick little hockey analogy. The Winnipeg Jets, they clinched the Western Conference. There was 2 hockey players from the Chicago Blackhawks that were retiring. There was a handshake line. That's what we want to do. Canada wants to have a handshake with the United States, not fight with them.
Just really. real quickly, yeah, I love the hockey analogy, you know me. But real quick though, what's the status right now of the election? I mean, you got a Prime Minister. Canadians are going to the polls here shortly. You got Pierre Poilievre and Mark Carney, as you just mentioned, is the Prime Minister now. Where is it at? What way are Canadians leaning towards?
It's 9 days to our election. April 28th is when we're going to pick a new prime minister. Liberals are at 43%. The Conservatives, Poilievre, is about 38%. There is some talk that Poilievre's camp believes that the numbers that are being reflected in the polls aren't true because of the large attendance in many of the arenas. I think Poilievre's got to be a little more concerned now getting the message out that any more liberalism against our economy, our debt has to be fixed, and Poilievre is the answer. That's basically where we're at. The NDP has no stake in this game, but Canadians have to understand that a liberal government, in many people's idea, is not the best option for Canada. And Poilievre was having problems because he said many things that were supposedly Trump-esque, and there's been a slight reaction, but 9 days is a lot of time still to go before the election, John.
Big time. I mean, polls, I mean, as we saw with the election here in the United States, they're not always accurate. inaccurate, as we saw with President Trump. Michael Charbon, thank you again. Great to have you on. We'll talk next week about what happened with the fallout here from this election. Appreciate it, or
Sure.
lead up to it.